highest courage is to be yourself in the face of adversity. Choosing right over wrong, ethics over convenience, truth over popularity. These are the choices that measure your life. Travel the path of integrity and always do the right thing. Well, it was March of 2001, so a long time ago now, and I was at the University of Colorado at Boulder getting my master's degree. I was actually close to finishing up my master's degree in kinesiology, and it was my spring break, and one of my best friends I've had for years decided to come out to Colorado, and we were going to drive out to California together to do a backpacking trip. We love the outdoors. I've always been a big outdoors person, always will be. And I love to do backcountry packing, where you put a big 40 or 50 pound backpack on your back, you got your food, you got your clothes all in there, and you just take off into the mountains for a couple days and come back. So we decided to drive down the Pacific Coast Highway, and literally we saw a national forest headquarters. Not a national park, a national forest. You gotta remember the difference. National parks are much more organized. And so we went to National Forest headquarters. He told us about a 22-mile loop. We parked the car right there along the Pacific Coast Highway. We got out, packed up all of our stuff, and we're excited to hit this trail. And we started hiking up the mountains, you know, literally right on the Pacific Ocean. It was gorgeous. And we turned in, and the next day and a half was okay, but after that it got a little sketchy. So the first day and a half, we hiked in about the first 24 hours. We started hiking in the afternoon that first day, and we hiked into the mountains, and you know, it was beautiful following the ocean for a while, and then turned into the mountains and started hiking in the mountains. And in a national forest, you got like camping areas. You don't really have like designated camping sites. So we started to, you know, the first morning when we woke up after camping out somewhere, we couldn't find a trail. And right then alone, like there were no signs, there were nothing to lead you, nothing to guide you. And right then we knew that we were like, okay, this isn't the most well-maintained forest. But we eventually found a trail, and we hiked, and later on that afternoon we hit a rock slide where we literally had to climb, literally holding on to the mountain in order not to die. And that really freaked us out. And so again, no signs, no nothing to warn us of this. And then it was towards like the afternoon, evening, around 5, 6 o'clock, because it usually got dark around 7. We started going down the backside of this mountain, and it was taking too long. So my friend decided that maybe we should cut the trail, because it's you know, switchbacks. And he said, let's just cut the trail. And I, of course, immediately said no. But as the day wore on and it got longer and it was getting closer to night, we didn't want to hike in the dark because that's terrible. We ended up cutting the trail. We literally sat on our butts, you know, using our feet as brakes, slid down the mountain. And I lost the map when we did that. The map fell out of my pocket. And after we did that, we thought we could find a trail again, but we didn't. So we lost the map and the trail the second day in. And after that, it kind of became a bit of an adventure. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then from there, we really, like, the next day we woke up, we went river trekking. We literally hiked down a river. We would hit waterfalls every now and then, and we had to literally climb up on the side of the mountains in order to traverse over and in front of the waterfalls. And one time it didn't work out, and we literally had to climb an entire mountain, and we were so freaked out we didn't even talk to each other. You know, I was at the end of my rope. You know, I was literally at the end of my rope. And now we're on, you know, this is day 3 now. And then we ended up pitching camp for the night, and then the next day we woke up and climbed another mountain. And eventually, once we climbed up that mountain all the way up to the top, it was a very key moment when we were up there. The key moment was my friends sat down, and you know, this was, now we're in day 4, and 3 nights, 4 days, and there was no end in sight at this point. You know, it was the 4th day, it was the afternoon, about 1 o'clock, and my friend sat down, and you could tell he was ready to give up. And I just like started reeling into him. I'm just like, we can't die in here, we gotta get out of here, we got families to care about, we got friends. And that's really what sunk in, was that my friends and family are what's the most important thing to me, and that's what really got me out of that forest that day, because he was ready to give up and I wasn't. And he eventually got inspired and got up, and we kept going up the mountain, and eventually we found 2 people that saved us. That 4th day, we decided that we were going to wake up in the morning and just start yelling for help, start calling for help. And we did that. And we kept on climbing the mountain, we kept on calling for help, we kept on climbing the mountain, kept on calling for help. And we did this over and over and over and over again. And we eventually got to the top of the mountain, turned the corner, and we saw like off in the distance like this dirt road, and you know, it was like, but we were so tired we couldn't talk to each other. We were just like in a daze. And eventually somebody yelled back hello, and we kind of freaked out, and we both yelled back hello, and next thing you know, we're hiking over to those 2 people that were there. You know, we were just so excited that 2 people were there, and they eventually took us down in their car. They had a car up there, and they gave us a ride to our car all the way down the Pacific Ocean. It was 2 hours away. Our car was 2 hours away. It was crazy. And yeah, so those 2 people saved us. Something hit me almost immediately. Like, I would say it was definitely immediately, and it's affected my life ever since. I learned from that when my friend sat down and was ready to give up. I learned from that friends and family, people that care about you, are the most important things in the world. And you know, the type of car you have, how big your house is, all those other material things, they don't mean much. They really don't mean much compared to who cares about you. You know, all of that's truly what matters, is who cares about you. So I'm just, you know, looking back on it, I'm just, you know, you can say whatever you want, but somebody was watching over us and got us out there, so I'm happy. Funny enough, like ironically enough, we actually planned to camp out 3 nights, 4 days. So it actually worked out that we had just enough food and just enough of everything in order to get out of there in time. You know, because the reality of it all is, if we would have had to go another day, we were trying to conserve some food because we knew we were lost. But the reality of it all is that it would have been scarce. And so I was actually planning on living out in Colorado, and I actually had a job offer, and I was going to take it, and I was going to live out in Colorado for a number of years. And a couple weeks later, my dad ended up having a small heart attack, and that kind of shook me. And after everything I learned in the forest, I called up my mom and I said, I'm turning down the job offer in Colorado. I'm moving back to the Midwest. And that's what I did. I moved back to the Midwest. I've been here ever since. It's really, it made me realize, you know, I've lived here now in the Midwest for the last 12 years, 13 almost now, and I don't regret it at all. I don't regret the decision, not even remotely. I love my life right now. I love my job. I have the best job in the world. I love, you know, my family. I have a fiance. Everything's great, and I owe a lot of that to what I learned in that forest. I try to live every day to be a person of integrity. I try to live every day to be a person that does the right thing and chooses the right, you know, and there, you know, who's to say what's right and what's wrong, but I try to choose what I think is ethically right or morally right. You know, it's the way I look at it. And it's hard to live life that way sometimes because society pushes against you sometimes. But that's the way I try to live, and I feel like I've done that. I feel like over the last 12 or 13 years, especially since this whole event in the forest, moving back here, being true to my family, being true to what I believed in. Like, at the time, I had no idea I wanted to be a teacher. But I realized after being in the forest, like, you gotta take hold of the opportunities. You know, it's not about carpe diem, seizing the day. Like I wanna be a teacher. I wanna make a difference. You know, like, so I'm back to school to be a teacher. You know, I love coaching. I love every aspect of it, and just being a good person. And you know, I truly do believe that good things happen to good people. And you know, like so that's kind of been my motto in life and how it's led me to where I am today. And I'm glad that, you know, I think that you should do things in life sometimes for selfish reasons, but you also have to realize that, you know, love, or the people that love you, the people that care about you, there's nothing that can replace that.